Let's go talk about circadian rhythm or sleep stuff, right? We know sleep's a big deal because that's where we recharge a lot of our hormones, our adrenals, and our neurotransmitters. And these are really important for stress. So if we don't recharge these glandular systems, if we don't recharge our neurotransmitters, then our ability to deal with stress gets thwarted. And the more we're not able to deal with perceived stress, the more our gut's going to be broken down and affected, the more our sympathetic nervous system will be affected. So it's a lot of stress is perception based, where you could take someone who has a larger bandwidth to deal with stress, put them in the same situation, and they may not have the same physiological sympathetic nervous system response because they have more bandwidth than you. And then if that response isn't happening, then they're not going to have all the side effects of the sympathetic nervous system decreasing stomach acid or enzymes or breaking down their gut lining or making it hard to break down food. So the more we can allocate good bandwidth through recharging our neurotransmitters, adrenaline, dopamine, GABA, recharging our glandular systems, right? Pituitary, adrenals, thyroid, ovaries, the better chance, testicles, the better chance that we are going to be able to deal with stress the next day.
Yeah, well said. Well, we've got a couple papers on this, so why don't we talk about this here regarding the circadian rhythm disruption? We're talking to people specifically that are working night shift or swing shift, or people that are just using artificial light at night. They're not protecting themselves from the nighttime EMF and light exposure. Even just a couple of days, which is kind of hard to believe, but even just a couple of days of circadian rhythm disruption. So what that means is I'm talking to the people who they go to bed at 9 p.m. on the workday, but then they stay up till midnight or 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. on the weekends. Just those 2 to 3 days is enough to create changes in your gut, increasing the pro-inflammatory bacterial species. So long story short, you need to go to bed at the same time every day. You're not typically going to benefit. I mean, maybe you have more social life and you go out and, I don't know, drink some poison at the club and poison your gut and start to kill your liver even more. And then you stay up and then you're hungover the next day. I mean, God, I just don't see the benefit of that lifestyle. If that's what you got to do, okay. But just know, hey, there's papers showing you doing those weekend binges just on Netflix. If you're like, I don't drink alcohol, Evan, it's poison. I know, you're right. Okay, you stay up till 1 a.m. watching something, but on the weekday you went to bed at 9. That is still messing up your gut. And if your gut is messed up, then you really can't afford to lose that benefit. That could be another 10 or 20% of your issue right there.
Correct. So do your best. People are going to stay up later on the weekend. It is going to be what it is. So we can always use extra magnesium. We can use glutathione before bed. If we're going to drink alcohol, we can always use activated charcoal. We can make sure we do our best to get to sleep a little bit more to make it up on the back end, and just do our best to maybe take a tiny bit of melatonin or a little bit of natural sleep support to kind of get us back on track to start the week. So we kind of have like our goal of perfect, and then we have things that we can biohack to get us back on track and still cheat a little bit.
Call me boring, and maybe it's just because I have kids that are young, but I go to bed pretty much the same time every night. So maybe in 5 years, you'll be listening to this podcast and be like, oh, Evan, remember when you used to go to bed at 9 every day or 10? I don't, maybe I'll change, but for now, every night is about the same time for me, and I feel good.
Yep, I agree. I think that's great.